Rated mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey guys, welcome to today's podcast. Happy Friday to everybody. I hope everybody tuned into the podcast just yesterday actually. I had a podcast with Collectively Cole that was on the podcast with us. Always a privilege and an honor to have her on the podcast. It's been a while since we've had Nicole on the podcast, but it's always nice to hear from our Patriot Nation of guests that we do have on the show. With that being said, guys, welcome to today's show. Welcome. We got a lot to talk about, guys. I want to talk about this new BA2 variant that's out. Yes, COVID variants, they continue to pop up pretty much every day or just about every week, right? I mean, it seems like that. We're going to be talking about the BA variant 2. We're going to be talking about the Spotify and now Apple pretty much going head-to-head with this whole Joe Rogan / Neil Young saga, which I touched a couple episodes back with the Rooster. We got a lot to talk about, guys. Don't go anywhere. Broadcasting from the Big Peach of Atlanta, Georgia. A show unfiltered, unscripted, raw. The Patriot Angle Podcast. Patriot Unfiltered Raw.
And that burrito? And IHOP's all-new melts? Yes, please. Wait, or all-you-can-eat pancakes for $5.99? Well, I know where I'm headed. To all-you-can-eat my heart out.
My parents were vaccinated. I just said, I don't think that if you're a young, healthy person, that you need it.
This morning, Spotify's most popular podcaster, Joe Rogan, famously known for questioning vaccine safety, may have caused the streaming platform a rock icon, Neil Young, demanding his music be scrubbed from Spotify in a since-deleted letter reported by Rolling Stone magazine. I am doing this because Spotify is spreading fake information about vaccines, Young wrote in a post NBC News has not viewed. The Harvest Moon singer reportedly putting forth an ultimatum. They can have Rogan or Young, not both. The fallout on the heels of the podcast host's continued controversial comments.
It's a completely new kind of vaccine. The idea that people shouldn't be skeptical or nervous about that is kind of hilarious.
A recent episode also featured a virologist who said Americans have been hypnotized into getting vaccinated. Those statements reaching Rogan's millions of followers and driving a coalition of scientists and researchers to call on Spotify this month to establish a clear and public policy to moderate misinformation.
We are not, again, asking for the censorship or removal or even deplatforming of a person or a podcast. We're asking for responsible actions to make sure that consumers of that information are properly warned.
Even the 54-year-old's own battle with COVID stirring up controversy.
Turns out I got COVID. So we immediately threw the kitchen sink at it.
Revealing he took ivermectin, which the FDA has approved to treat parasitic worms in humans, but not COVID-19. That decision blasted by radio host Howard Stern.
I heard Joe Rogan was saying I took a horse dewormer, and a doctor gave it to me. Well, a doctor would also give you a vaccine. So why take horse dewormer?
Rogan hosts a range of medical experts on his podcast and assures he's not anti-vax, sharing he nearly got vaccinated. Still, he has appeared to discourage young people from getting the jab, to which Dr. Fauci told Savannah,
even if I get infected, I could do damage to somebody else, even if I have no symptoms at all.
So you say young, healthy people should get vaccinated?
Absolutely.
So Emily, back to Neil Young for a second. He's
Okay. Guys, welcome to the show. As you see, I plugged in the whole Joe Rogan, / Neil Young / Spotify story. Guys, I want to talk more into this. I did touch on this a couple episodes back, but guys, I want to continue more on this, which seems to be surfacing social media in the internet world by far. Guys, this is probably one of the biggest trending stories in the last week or two, right? With the whole Joe Rogan Spotify thing. One of the biggest okay bye moments ever, I think. Basically, Spotify choosing Joe Rogan over Neil Young. And Neil Young basically, and I quote, saying that Spotify and some of their hosts, podcast hosts, are spreading misinformation and lying about vaccine and COVID. First of all, guys, let me stop right there and say, how did we become a country where you are attacked on your own personal opinion about anything in this world? How can they say that it's misinformation? How? I just don't understand that. Okay, you got a host named Joe Rogan, right? You got other hosts out there, Bongino, Savage, got them all, right? Love them. I tune into them every day of their shows. I love hearing the different types of sides of content towards conservatism, patriotism, everything. I love it. So I love hearing the different opinions, the different takes on it. But again, how did we become a nation where we're going to literally call it out as misinformation? Guys, it's a fucking opinion. Whether you're right or wrong, that's what makes this country great. As an American, we have our own personal opinions. That's what sets us apart from other people in a very unique way. But no, it's COVID misinformation. What are these liberals so afraid of? What are they? They're paranoid on everything. You can't say that on airways. You can't say it. It's misinformation. Misinformation. It's an opinion, buddy. I don't know. As a kid, guys, I always looked at the future as, mystical, right? I looked at it as like, wow, the future, right? As I look at the future now, we've become a society of a bunch of crybabies, a bunch of whiners, a bunch of idiotic individuals, a society of liberal nut jobs. Literally. I mean, I started, guys, hold on. Let me get, the composure here on the show. Okay? I was going to save some of this content for Tuesday's show. We're inviting U.S. freedom fighters back on the podcast. I was going to save some of the content for it, but guys, I can't hold back. I mean, this needs to be heard. This is a bunch of crap. Literally. A bunch of crap. But I just don't understand it. And then now, did you hear the latest about Neil Young? Neil Young, just what was it, yesterday? Neil Young now is literally upset that Spotify didn't take his side. Well, he did it to himself, literally. He did it to himself. He literally went out and made a public statement and said, it's either Joe Rogan or me. Well, just like any other big tech company, Spotify looked at their rating column. You know? They looked at their popularity. Okay. Spotify made that decision. And looked at it and said, you know, well, he's got so many followers with his podcasts. What do you have? You know, yeah, you're a legend in the music business, but he's got a lot of followers. You know, a big tech company like that, folks, they're going to look at the following. You know, a man like Joe Rogan literally takes in millions of listenership. So, Spotify did it for him. And they kicked Neil Young off their platform. Talk about backfiring, right? Talk about backfiring. I mean, you know, they, but apparently, you know, the liberals out there will say, oh, Spotify doesn't care about music and Neil Young, and they just proved it. And, you know, you'll get some comments that will come in like that, you know. Literally, I mean, that's how the liberal machine works, you know. But the whole reason for it is Neil Young had to make that comment, had to put it out there, and said that, oh, Spotify is famous for having podcast hosts question vaccine and its safety behind it. Bunch of crap, guys. It's a bunch of crap. Everything today, folks, is misleading. That's what they want you to hear. Everything is misleading. Oh, it's misleading. Misleading. Misinformation. Everything is misinformation. Misinformation. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to close it out here with this story with the whole, you know, Joe Rogan thing. I think we know where it's going. Guys, I want to take a quick little break. I want to be right back. I want to talk more about this new variant that's out. Of course, like I said, you're always going to have variants and everything. The COVID saga continues. Be right back after these words, guys. Don't go anywhere.
It's clear to see. T-Mobile is the leader in 5G. T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, most reliable 5G network.
Let's get right to Dr. Scott Gottlieb, former FDA commissioner, CNBC contributor. He also serves on the boards of Pfizer and Illumina. What about the latest thinking or data, or your opinion on a variant, this new variant that tell us what you know, because I've read things. I don't know what's true and what's not. Maybe it's not any more virulent or is similar, but what do we know about it, Scott?
Yeah, look, there's some critical questions right now that we don't have perfect answers to. It does appear to be, so 3 questions. Is it more contagious? It does appear to be more contagious. It's spreading in areas where the old Omicron version has become prevalent. So Sweden put out data in the last 24 hours that shows that it's increased from 25% of infections to about 45% of infections over 3 weeks. So it does appear to be more contagious. Is it more virulent? Is it more dangerous of a strain? It doesn't appear to be the case. The data out of Sweden and the UK suggests that it's not any more severe, not causing more severe illness than what we've seen previously. And is the immunity that we've acquired from the current version of Omicron going to be protective against this new variant? That does appear to be the case, just based on looking at the contours of the spike protein in this new variant, this B2 variant. It does appear to have a similar antigenic profile. So hopefully, if people were infected with the current strain of Omicron, which probably half of the U.S. has or will be infected with this current version of Omicron, that immunity that you've acquired is going to be protective against this new variant. If that's the case...
All right, guys, did you get all that? I hope so. A lot of information being basically expressed through what was that? NBC. Oh, of course. Yeah. They like to talk fast when they express things, so to speak. But did anybody get that? So this is the new, basically the new BA.2 COVID variant. And according to NBC and, of course, the CDC, it appears to be more contagious than the Delta and the Omicron variant. Oh, okay. Guys, I just don't understand. Yeah, ping on that one. I just don't understand how they come across with these vast, ridiculous, delusional accusations with it seems to be more contagious. The thing just came out like 9 hours ago, a day ago, if that. How the hell is it? How do these people get to the point where they think it's more contagious than previous variants? It just came out. How the hell can you make that that collusion of the oh God, the words there. How do they come up with these conclusions? There we go. How do they come up with all this crap? How do they know? It's brand new. Oh, it's more contagious than the Delta and the Omicron variant. It's a cause for concern, folks. I mean, I guess this is what we call the midterm variant, right? Because the midterms are coming right up, right? They're literally right around the corner, guys. But I would not worry about that. I think even if they understand this COVID thing is making them lose on a popularity base, but I think they greatly underestimate by how much it's going to be a bloodbath in the midterms, because this whole Biden administration, folks, and the reason why I use the word bloodbath is because getting a little extreme there. I should use other words, but guys, they're losing in the midterms. They're literally losing. They're coming out with these variants, and then also too, the Biden administration is losing on a lot of things. It's losing on, first of all, COVID. It's losing on the mask mandates. Folks are just they're dropping the Kool-Aid effect, guys. They're walking away from it. They're understanding. They're not the the brainwashed sheeple anymore. Or at least we think they're not. People are waking up. They understand that this is all bullshit. But I love how the liberal media goes and says how they say each variant is more contagious from the last. You notice that, folks? They'll go into that detail and they'll say, oh, this variant is more contagious than the last variant. They go into that whole brand new set of fear-mongering. I mean, what's the next variant going to be? Rooster had said just the other day that they're going to start naming these things like hurricanes. Right? I mean, that's what we're seeing. I guess that's like the new thing, right? I mean, a person coughs and everybody within 20-mile radius literally just freaks out. Oh my God! Right? I got something for you, folks. Why don't you Google measles? That's not far from reality, right? Google measles. Well, don't tell the media that. They won't. They'll look at you with a silent pause, pretty much. What? Right, folks? Come on. It's a little, it's sarcastic. Does that word even exist in this country anymore? But truth be told, folks, we are heading into a Great Depression. Depression of inflation, where everything is up. Everything. Look at the airline industry. American Airlines. It's, yeah. The airlines, American Airlines, yeah. 15% of their prices. United Airlines, 40.4. Delta, 37.98. Should I go on? I think you get the point, right? Meat prices going up. It's terrible. But what's next for the Biden administration? Well, the fearmongerer is pretty much done with COVID. Now we have to worry about more severe things, such as conflicts and tension with Mother Russia, right? With Putin, you know? It's kind of, you know, odd that he was so quick to pull out last year in Afghanistan, which he made a whole thing about. Oh, we're gonna pull out of Afghanistan and this and that. It's just, you know. But he's so quick to basically pull back in with a new conflict. He has to, folks. They want this. The Democrats, they want war. Because, folks, sadly, and the Democrats aren't stupid. They know this. They know that people aren't standing behind Biden. They know that if we go into war with Russia, people will stand behind Biden on this. They will. They'll stand behind a commander-in-chief, a president of the United States. They know this. It's a tactic that they're using, folks. Because they know that they're not winning with the COVID saga. They know they're not winning with the mask mandates. So what's their next objective? In order to save themselves during the midterms and possibly the 2024 general election? Well, tension with Russia. That's where Biden's going with all this. That's their last objective, folks. Their last objective. They need this. They need this to secure the midterms and the general election. Because they feel that if they do this, this is their last and final hope for securing the midterms and the general election. That's it. That's basically where it's going. Scary, but that's where it's going. Be right back, guys, after these words. Don't go anywhere. Patriot Unfiltered Raw.
Can't even go up to people without, like, you know, having people look at you with five heads. You can't even shake someone's hand. I mean, it's destroying our society. It really is.
Yep.
I mean, you know, I see it all over the place. I mean, there's, you know, I'm noticing now in the news now that Starbucks and a few other companies, you know, are starting to want to try to hire back the people that they fired because they didn't want to get vaccinated. You know, they're like, oh, with open arms again. Oh yeah, we'll hire you back. Yeah, like after you basically canned them, you're gonna hire them back. I mean, you know, it's all this crap, all this shit. You know, Nicole, it's getting old. It really is.
Yep.
You know, it's getting old. Did you hear the story that South Carolina is becoming the first state that wants to pass a bill that basically indicates that if anybody, a business, an individual, anybody questions you and asks you if you're vaccinated, ask about your vaccination status, they could be liable up to a $14,000 fine and up to a year in prison. Did you hear that one?
Good for South Carolina.
Yeah. They want to pass the bill. Well, obviously, it's got to go through the House and, through the congressional districts there in South Carolina. But, I mean, if it passes, like you said, good for South Carolina. I hope the whole damn country basically follows their direction.
Oh, please. Jersey's not going to do that.
No, Governor Murphy.
You got fucking New York and New Jersey are like fucking sister states, and they're fucking, oh my gosh. Murphy's a jackass who needs to go back to fucking Pennsylvania. Dude, he doesn't even belong in New Jersey.
Yeah, he's screwing up that whole state. I mean, what was it? Ron DeSantis of Florida, I think, is going to be the next state to join South Carolina. He basically just ended the mandates for small business and big business, not requiring, businesses, such as Amazon, Walmart, and, such, for the mask mandates. He's ended the mask mandates in his state, which is great.
I know. I've got my mom and my sister live in Florida. I know. They love it. They get to live their lives.
Well, they get to live in freedom. You know what I mean?
Oh.
There's freedom in Florida, unlike New Jersey or New York, where, look at Murphy. Look at former Governor Cuomo. Look what they did to the businesses there. Destroyed them. They'll never come back.
Destroyed our states. Like, these states are destroyed. New York and New Jersey, when you think of the East Coast, you think of New York, New Jersey, and like, you think of the major, you think of, well, for me, because I'm a Jersey girl born and raised, when I think of East Coast, I think of home, which is New Jersey. I think of New York. I think of Massachusetts. Like, those are the three states I think of instantly when I think of the East Coast. Like, New Jersey, New York, and Massachusetts. Like, that's the East Coast for me, And I don't even think of, Connecticut, PA, Delaware, Maryland. I don't think of those. It's, the three major places. New York City, which is the most major city in the entire United States, Boston, and my home state, so it's,
oh, without a doubt. Moving on to the next topic. All
right, guys, you just heard a sound clip here from yesterday's podcast episode with Collectively Cole Rants. Nicole stopped by the show. We haven't had her on in quite some time. Last time she was on was when I did a show with New Jersey's 420 VIPs. So it's been a hot minute since we've had her on the show. But moving on, guys, moving on. Like I said, I hope you tuned into that podcast. It was a really good podcast episode. Really, really good. But guys, we're talking about the tensions between Russia and, now Ukraine, and then, apparently the United States basically in the mix of all this, and a lot of folks, guys, are starting to, question, like, does the Democrats really want this war, with Russia? I don't think it's a good idea. One, because it's just, war is just never a good idea. Tensions between any foreign country is just never a good idea. And I really don't think that Biden is literally thinking this through. You have a weak man as leader of this country entering pre-senile stages of dementia. Okay? And everybody sees it. The media sees it. The public sees it. I mean, everybody sees it, including people, in other countries, seeing what type of leadership this president is showing every single day. And, the handlers, the staff members, the rest of the administration, like, where are they with this? Are they even questioning the president? Like, Mr. President, you really should be thinking this through. right? Where is the GOP on this? Where is President Trump on this? I haven't seen him on any of this. You know, is he commenting on this? You know, I mean, does the nose point right or does the nose point left? I mean, does anybody really, you know, understand where I'm getting with this? I mean, this is bad stuff, guys. Really, really bad stuff. And as I'm going to close this podcast out soon, I hope that the tensions don't escalate with the Russia-Ukraine thing. I really don't, guys. I think it would be, you know, a really, the words, guys. I mean, it would be bad. It would be really, really bad. We don't need the tensions to escalate. We don't need this to escalate into something far worse than what we're seeing now. With that being said, guys, I want to close it out. I want to thank anybody who's listening to the podcast. Thank you very much, guys. Before I close it out, we got some new stuff here. If you notice that the website, Patriot Angle Podcast, has a new look. Some new stuff on there. Along with our merchandise website, PatriotUnfiltered.com, guys, has a brand new look. Got some new logos put it on there. So thank you to some friends here on the podcast for making that happen. Also, too, guys, if you head over to the Patriot Angle Podcast Facebook page, there is a section now on that page where you could view every single episode, whether it's past or current, on the Facebook page. Just click the section where it says podcasts, and every episode that we've launched, like I said, both past and current, is on the Facebook page, Patriot Angle Podcast. So really, really cool feature. Hope everybody checks that out. And also, too, guys, we're going to have a mega podcast show. Again, inviting U.S. freedom fighters this Tuesday evening. So you want to check that out, guys. It's going to be a really, really good show. The Rooster will be joining us along with some special surprise guests. Can't tell anybody yet with who they are. Trying to leave it a surprise for our listeners. But it's going to be a really good show, guys. Thank you for tuning in today, guys, and we'll see you Tuesday evening. You just heard an episode of the Patriot Angle Podcast, an Anchor platform.